Fly tipping, unsightly and dangerous, but will we finally see less of it? Today, new measures have been proposed to tackle waste crimes, such as the illegal export of rubbish. The Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, or DEFRA, wants increased background checks on waste clearance companies and mandatory digital tracking of rubbish across the UK. Martin Montague owns ClearWaste, an app where you can report fly tipping across the country.
It's a huge problem. There's over 1 million cases a year, and the government just put figures out that says it spent nearly 1 billion cleaning up waste crime, accounting for waste crime. It's massive. That's money pulled out the NHS and other vital services at the moment, isn't it?
Yes, well, they say they want to bring in new measures to tackle this. Are you confident that any extra fines or restrictions on these illegal waste collectors will be strong enough?
Well, the problem is at the moment that there's not enough legislation. It needs to be nationwide and everyone needs to be fining and doing prosecutions. If I said to you that it's right now you could drink drive in 20% of the UK, you would be horrified. But in 20% of the UK right now, there are no councils doing fines or prosecutions of any kind.
ClearWaste, it's an app where you can report fly tipping. Why did you decide to set this up?
I was a victim of fly tipping. My road gets closed a couple of weeks a year. And I paid someone to remove some waste and it got fly tipped, and someone knocked on my door and they said, "Hey, your stuff's all being blown around." And I sat there and I thought, someone's got to do something about this. This is just ridiculous. So that's what I did. I set the app up and you can report fly tipping on there, and then you can now submit evidence on there. And you can also now find licensed waste traders on there. So it's really good for consumer protection. And everyone that uses that app for reporting, wherever they are in the UK, that data I'm using, and I am personally trying to make a difference to our lives. I'm using it at government level. I'm lobbying MPs. I'm determined. I'll do this on my hands and knees if I have to try and get some change, because no one wants to look at this stuff being dumped everywhere. And the environment's really suffering. So
it's not just a business for you, it's a moral crusade as well.
Well, I don't make any money out of it, so it's definitely not a business. But yes, you're absolutely right. It's a moral crusade. It's just something I feel really passionately about, and so many people do. I mean, I drive past people picking up litter and I stop and say thank you. But this country's important because we're all going to live the rest of our lives in it. So why should we be living in a skip?
Well, is it just people dumping black bin bags, or is it a lot more than that? Give us an idea of this type of things that people have reported.
Yesterday, I was at a river that's completely full of asbestos and cans of oil leaking into it. No chance that any wildlife there is going to be living for much longer, and it's right next to fields. So that's on one extreme, and I also go to the worst fly tips in the country, and some of them are the size of a few football pitches. And you see all sorts of stuff there, from fridges, freezers, building waste, rubble, asbestos, etc., etc. I've seen everything. On one site I was on, there was even a whole load of fly-tipped NHS patient records. It just goes to show you've got to be really, really careful with how you dispose of your waste.
And if you were in charge of sorting this out, what measures would you bring in?
Well, the first thing is I would say to the government, we need some common sense here. So it's great what you're doing, but 86% of van drivers who deal with waste aren't in fact licensed at the moment. And 66% of all adverts, classified ads, don't go to a licensed waste trader. So the simple thing to do is regulate advertising. That will stop the crooks getting the jobs from consumers.
That was Martin Montague, who owns the app ClearWaste.